You can go over there and check that out. In the meantime, we are getting ready for our second semifinal match. This is going to be a game between Casper and Dewalt. Casper from IG, and then Dewalt, his opponent. It's going to be a TVP coming up.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get on into this game. Pretty excited indeed. I just drank all my water trying to survive that last match.
I, luckily enough, have plenty of water left. Excuse me. Wow. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it by introducing both of our players. Player in the blue, starting up at the upper left-hand corner of Circuit Breaker. This is going to be Casper, or Dewalt.
And spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner as the white Terran player, it is IG's Casper. Ooh, man. So, TVP cross positions on Circuit Breaker. What are you doing for the next 50 minutes? Because I think I have an idea.
So, in case you guys have never played PvT, the Terran player turtles on 2 to 3 bases, builds up a bunch of tanks, and does this thing where the tanks turn from a mobile mode into an immobile mode, and that turns out to be a pretty good ability. The Terran player then proceeds to build a metric ton, that's a ton with an E on the end, of vultures, who then produce many metric tons of spider mines and spreads those across the map. In the meantime, the Protoss player is expanding as much as they possibly can get away with into other mains, other naturals, everywhere out there on the map, and trying to build up as many Dragoons and Zealots as possible before trying to find super sneaky ways to either recall them into the Terran's base or stasis his entire army and run on top of it and kill it. So, there you go.
It's a nice little, kind of razor's edge. Once everything actually starts getting underway, the game becomes like this. I really hope that I can push out across the map, get a lot of distance between, where I previously was and where I could be, as well as not walk into an army that I wasn't expecting to be there. And it's both those players playing that entire, that matchup the entire way. That's what I love about this matchup. It's both those armies are so incredibly fragile. One of them is better being mobile and being around the map and catching the opponent off guard. The other is being incredibly very stationary, very, I have this place and you will have to basically give up ever trying to take this back from me. And that's what's really great about the whole entire PvT matchup, is it's that constant fight of stationary versus mobile.
Yeah, Protoss player really kind of feels like has to outsmart the Terran player in a lot of cool ways, to find ways to either get DTs where they shouldn't be, find cool recall or drop avenues, get some Reavers out and make those work. Usually you don't see Reaver tech in PvT. I'm just trying to come up with wacky examples of things that the Protoss player can do that might catch the Terran player off guard. And it is kind of a swing in the balance of power sometimes. You can have lots of Dragoons get produced and siege the front. We've seen that already many times today. So it'll just be interesting to see the way that this game goes.
Okay, sorry, I just have to point out something that's happening in chat. Somebody asked, who is Casper? And 3 people answered with a friendly ghost. Which just, that little synergy in chat is always what makes me so happy. Guys, thank you so much for watching, tuning in, and chatting while these games are going on. You are making all of our days, as well as hopefully you're having a pretty good day because of it yourself. Nothing really too crazy coming out from either of these players. We've seen the bunker expand come out from the Terran, and Protoss just going for the 1-gate expand. But, oh wait, hold on, no, I take that back. That's not a 1-gate expand.
No, it certainly is not. There is, in fact, no expansion out there on the map. You can see this Dragoon trying to get out here and catch this SCV. SCV has 2 more shots on it. Dragoon theoretically should be able to grab it, but it pathed the wrong way. And that means that the SCV is going to scout. No Nexus.
Oh, but there's another... Oh, this is not going to see the Nexus, but doesn't actually get into the main base. So they did see the probe actually end up going down towards the expansion. So he knows something is weird, but not what. And that is the worst thing.
Yeah, so at this point, your mind's going to be a little bit racing. You're like, okay, well, what could possibly be coming my way? Seeing no Nexus, knowing that the timing is late, means that he's going to be thinking about an aggressive option. So, really kind of an interesting idea here. Dewalt just saying, okay, well, you think something's coming your way. I'm just going to throw down a Nexus anyway. It might be a little bit late, but it's still going to throw you off.
But you know what? As a Terran, you always know one thing and one thing for certain. If you see only 2 Dragoons coming out from a Protoss, something is up. If you don't see a 3rd Dragoon, especially with that scouting SUV going back and forth along the pathing of where a Dragoon would go, you know something is happening. Now, what is the response here from Terran? He's thrown down an Academy. Which is,
yeah, and I think the Academy is definitely the right way to go, because it turns out what's coming his way is going to be DTs. So Templar Archives just now warping in, and we should see DTs. Yeah, first one under production there from the Protoss Gateway. Now, this is not going to be a crazy, super insane DT rush, because there should be scans out in time to deal with it. But it'll be cool to see. Like I said, I have not seen this exact style from Protoss just yet as an opener.
Yeah, I mean, what's really... You know, an Academy is good, you can get comsats, but comsats are limited. I would have really liked to see actually the engineering bay, but at the same time, when you're cross positions as a Terran, it's always so good to have those comsats to be able to kind of scan the Protoss base and be like, oh, he's got 1 gate, he's going for a 3rd base, or he's got 2 gates, and he's going for a 3rd base. Those types of things are very important for what type of build you're going to go for behind this. But having that Academy is now a liability because you have to spend your scans very, very carefully.
Definitely is absolutely true, and I think the biggest thing to worry about right now is not necessarily like, you know, how you spend your scans or what you do, but like I think maybe wanting to get missile turrets up eventually is going to be the way to go here. Comsat scanner just now finishing up. He has to carry or sneak this DT deep into enemy eyes. No, he just walks forwards and hits the tanks. No, that's terrible. He's gonna lose it for free.
Oh, now he knows.
Now he knows indeed. Now, that is the only scan from that comsat station. So, the engineering bay being built up at the front, terrible place to build it, by the way. So he's going to have to find another place to build that, hopefully back in the main. There is one more scan there in the main. No, actually, no scans anywhere.
Yeah, this is going to be really rough. He already spent 1 scan in order to actually scout out what the Protoss was up to. Without the engineering bay on the way at all, he's going to lose a lot of stuff right now. Does he have mines on the way? Mines isn't done yet. Mines can actually help out here, but he's going to lose a lot of SCVs in the process.
Now, we'll have to pull back there, but the DT should still be invincible for now. Waiting for scan energy. 10 scan energy left in the natural, 5 in the main. This DT will be able to get a couple of kills, but should be able to get taken out here.
Actually, 5, not doing 4, as much 3, as I would expect it to do.
1. There we go, yeah.
That was really, really weird. That DT, both those DTs I expected to do a lot more damage, but Dewalt's DTs kind of getting caught up quite a bit in the natural. Like, kind of the SimCity and all the units there kind of caught up everything.
I feel like there was a way, if controlled perfectly, that Dewalt definitely could have done a crazy amount of damage there. However, unfortunately, unable to do that. Now he's going to lose all of his Dragoons out on the map, and this strat has not been a failure because there is a 3rd base up and running.
Well, okay, so that kind of evens out. It's not a really big loss for either player then, because it's okay for the Protoss to be that 1 map up, 1 base up, but I definitely could have seen Dewalt taking that game a lot further in his favor than where he ended up. But, you know, this actually kind of ends up being a pretty good matchup between the two of them right now.
Yeah, so it definitely should even up now. Right now, 3rd command center's coming up. I think the biggest thing about this, like we said before, is that once Terran does get 3 CCs, especially if it's cross positions on Circuit Breaker like this is, I mean, they can just live there forever. They can, you know, put up some drapes, put up some paintings, you know, get one of those like potpourri scented air fresheners, and just really start to feel totally at home. And Protoss, to his credit, does have a pretty livable situation himself, but it is on the Protoss to get out there and expand and not lose everything to all of these vultures running around.
Ooh, 1 mine gonna actually connect on those Dragoons over there. Ooh, actually, whoa! That mine should not have connected. That was a little bit of a misfire there from the Dragoons, and that caused 3 Dragoons to go down.
Yeah, 3 Dragoons lost to 1 mine. That's just insanely unfair value. Speaking of which, we're about to see a little bit more of that. Turns out pylon walls spread this way do not stop vultures from getting in there and killing off all your drone or probes.
Yeah, this is some really good harass coming in here from Casper. Gets a lot of worth out of just those couple of vultures. Still spinning up pretty much all of his factories and everything else. Is now trying to just grab the third base with the mineral only. Actually looking like he wants to grab that fourth base as well.
Yeah, wow, and a Terran player that is unharassed when it comes to expanding across the map. I mean, that's almost as scary as a Zerg player that just gets out there and goes Sauron Zerg. Sauron Terran is not really a thing because generally it's harder for Terrans to expand out there on the map. But I mean, once you killed your opponent's opener and have that siege tech out, you probably don't have too much to worry about. I think the biggest thing to worry about right now would be something like a bunch of speed zealots just running over your army. And that's not going to happen, so fourth base coming up now for both players.
Yeah, so this is going to be pretty good here for Terran, because as I keep saying, you want to be one base ahead of your Terran always. Like, I know when I'm a Protoss and I'm watching a Terran take a third base and I'm still on 3, I'm like, oh, this is a problem. Like, you need to be above so you can start producing more gateway units than they have factory units. But, I mean, so far, both these players getting pretty good position. Still haven't seen an armory come... Oh, no, there is an armory. So finally starting to get that +1 on the way here for Casper. Dewalt, meanwhile, on the other hand, starting to get the first Arbiter.
Okay, so going into Arbiters, sometimes Protoss delays Arbiters until they know that they're going to need it, and just produces a metric ton of gateway units, gets out there and starts to try to control the map and expand. I think that's the one thing I'm questioning a little bit, is you usually are supposed to see Protoss expand a little bit more frequently now, but putting the pressure on, love to see this. Actually, should be able to walk right up on both of these tanks, and most likely be able to just like take them out.
Oh, but the tank shots are actually going to go straight onto the SCVs. Actually, that tank was taking a long time to get that next shot out. And those going to be a couple of SCVs going down here. Not the greatest of trades now. Like, you kind of want to keep your Dragoon losses to as many siege tank losses.
Yeah. I mean, that was a little bit sloppy control there on the Dragoons as well, not pulling them around, letting them get surrounded by SCVs. But look at what's coming out on the map. This is a gigantic Protoss army.
Yeah, there's nothing in the natural either. However, there's no observers to really know that there's nothing in the natural. Looks like he really wants to make the third base into a question.
Well, my big thing is, like, where are these Protoss observers? You got to get those out there just so that you have line of sight. Okay, right as I say that, I see it. It's parked right in front of these siege tanks down here, so that is actually okay. Dropping the zealots, using the siege tanks to help take out his own buildings there at the front, and Terran just trying to literally build a wall to make the Protoss pay for it.
Now, what's really cute here is we have the barracks over here that's kind of scouting for that whole entire top ground, so you can see exactly when the Protoss is moving in on that in that area. Doesn't have anything to float over directly over the ramp, though, so the Protoss could get into a good position, but every single time that they shoot from the high ground, they will be visible, so the siege tanks will be able to kind of defend that pretty easily. Meanwhile, Protoss still on 4 bases to the Terrans 4. Starting to get more and more of those Arbiters. I didn't actually see what the Arbiters researched. I don't know if they have stasis or recall yet, because that would be a little bit more telling of what the Protoss wants to do next.
They have the ability to stealth units underneath them, Sham, too.
Yeah, that they do. I am very well aware of that one.
Well, see, that's why you get 2 Arbiters, because one Arbiter cloaks the other one, and so they're all in... No, that's not how it works. I wish, man. I'd play Protoss in every game.
Perpetual cloaking engine?
Yeah, everything cloaks everything else, right?
Oh, but
I gotta say it. What were you?
I was gonna say there is a base in the bottom left-hand corner here for Dewalt that I did miss.
Yeah, really cool to see that base be taken, just because you want to have an ability to flank the Terran when he pushes out. Now, this Terran was lucky enough, and I don't use that in the sense of luck, but was fortunate enough to get a 4th base up. And when you have 4 bases as Terran, oh my goodness, you can stay on 4 bases for 50 minutes. I mean, that is, like I said, home sweet home.
Oh, yes. I mean, at this point, Terran can just kind of stay on these 4 bases forever. And that wasn't even supposed to be a pun, but I'm going to allow it to be. Getting the +2/+1 on the way as well. Sorry, actually, yeah, there we go. Now we have +2/+1 on the way. Again, like, that's just like that Terran sweet spot. You want to get that +2/+1s when your Terran army hits max efficiency. And, you know, like, I just love seeing those moments where 2-1 clicks on, the Terran pushes out, and the Protoss army just melts underneath it. It's a glorious thing as a Terran player.
Certainly is. Control group of vultures does escape by and get out on the map, and that means that we're gonna have to see Dewalt like pull back an observer to try to clear out these mines and clear all these vultures out there. I mean, vultures, if they can get through to your base, they can actually just kill every probe insanely fast. Now, thankfully, the cannons are up to defend the fifth base, and the rest of the bases are walled off by pylon walls. So I really got to give a lot of credit here to Dewalt for really just solidifying his position everywhere on the map.
Yeah, and these vultures, they just kind of go around the map. They're kind of just scouting out, seeing what the Protoss is up to, kind of trying to keep them on their toes. And for every mine that they don't actually take out, like you can see these 3 right here, it's a nice little victory. Oh, and as I say that, the Protoss comes in and cleans them up. But, ooh, actually does scout this 6th base being grabbed, but he doesn't know about the 5th base, which is actually the funny part.
Yeah, that +1 Terran armor allows the Vulture to require an extra cannon shot to get taken out, so it does survive there, scout out the 6th base. That'll mean that something has to come up there and deal with it, and
it's 12 Dragoons.
Okay, that's a little bit of overkill.
Especially because it's only 1 shot away from dying as well.
Yes, there you go. You have cleared out the marauding Vulture. Congratulations. And look at these Dragoons trying to get down this ramp up at the 6th. Like, that is... Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to walk along the edge. Oh, no, I can't. I'll walk back down the edge of the ledge again and then walk back down the ramp. Okay, I'm a Dragoon. I don't know what I'm doing.
Green Day wrote a song about that. It's like, I walk a lonely road. Yeah, well, it's only lonely because it takes you an hour and a half to pass through a tiny little choke. Now, okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the armies. Both armies completely maxed out. 200 supply, no rush 30 kind of game style. And here we go. Terran player pushing forward, getting that siege off and backing out.
Yeah, oh, but the money EMP. One Arbiter is completely useless. The other one waiting in the wings with only 153 energy. This is going to be a ridiculously hard battle for the Protoss. Can he get the stasis he's looking for? He does get 5 siege tanks locked out. Is starting to encompass an entire Terran army, but there's just so many siege tanks.
Yeah, the weird thing for Protoss is that usually, unless you have just crazy observer placement, you can't see how deep the siege tank line is. And that was a nice stasis, caught 5 tanks, but you need 2 stasises to catch not only the front of the line, but also like the middle to back of it, depending on how deep it is. And yeah, Dewalt ran out of zealots, and now this is going to give a big opportunity for our Terran player to push out across the map.
Oh yeah, and a lot of damage coming down from those Dragoons, but as soon as the siege tank sound completes, we can see everything running away. 197, 190, so both these players are resupplying so well. Cute positioning here on the Dragoons to put them into a high ground position here.
Alright, so just to get a little bit of a meta check here. How's my microphone doing?
You're doing alright. Why?
Alright, cool. Yeah, just wanted to make sure. Alright, so big push out across the map, and I think you can see the difference in supply between these players. Protoss now remaxed at 200, Terran right back up there as well. Zealous trying to run forward, get into a good spot there, and they do, in fact, encompass these tanks. Another great stasis coming out.
But the Zealots are getting cleaned up by all the remaining Vultures, and this is just so many Protoss units going down here. Terran's still at 181 supply.
Yeah, and Protoss dropping down below 150. So much blue goo out on the ground.
Yeah, some of those surrounds were just not doing the work that they definitely needed to. Now the Terran army is starting to barrel down onto the 3rd mineral-only base here.
Now, Protoss can afford to lose this base. They've gotten a ton of mining down on it, and if Terran takes this base out, it's not a really big issue. There are a few probes there, but for the most part, they've been, main-arted to other bases. So Terran sieging up here is not a deal breaker for the Protoss, but they do need to crush this eventually.
Yeah, and I mean, with this just huge force getting the high ground advantage right outside of your natural, this is going to be a really difficult thing for the Protoss to break. Now, I'm so curious where the Protoss army is. He's at 184 supply, but I see no army out on the map, and I don't see where he's going to be getting this advantage from.
Yeah, just waiting for the next macro cycle to come through here for the Protoss player, but a little bit careless, letting a bunch of Dragoons on a bad rally walk right into Casper's forces.
Arbiter moving forward, does have enough energy for another stasis. Is he going to be able to get one? Ooh, a nice defensive matrix on the front siege tank to tank a lot more damage there. The Dragoons are trying to do so much damage, but they're just failing.
Oh, this Arbiter actually needs, I think, 5 more energy for a stasis, so all it can do is fire 5 damage attacks down there at those tanks. Waiting for Stasis energy. It just now has one. Where's the money? Stasis? No, only catches 3 tanks.
Ooh, and another defensive matrix is going to keep that siege tank alive for a couple more shots from the Dragoons. The science vessel's a little bit far behind, but now they're able to start really getting some great detection in on those remaining Dragoon numbers. And if he can get a really good siege here, he could just actually take a lot of damage. But there is a huge Dragoon counterattack at the 6 o'clock base, which is actually going to be able to take that out.
Yeah, and you'll notice that the Protoss is, for most part, sacking his 3rd and natural. That's because there's just not a lot of, that's worth right now. All the minerals are pretty much gone. He's trying to go in there and get damage done to the Terran player. That's actually a lot of SCVs being killed off there at the 3 o'clock. Yeah,
and a huge stasis as well in order to stop those vultures from being able to handle those zealots. Is able to take out the 6 o'clock base. There's so many mines here, but there's actually not an observer.
So no observer to take out the mines, but meanwhile no anti-air to protect this entire Terran army from the one Arbiter. Arbiters, in fact, I'm pretty sure they heal units when they attack them. They actually just deal 0 damage.
You can have one, I'm pretty sure you can have like 1 or 2 SCVs just out heal an Arbiter's damage. It's the greatest thing.
I think it takes like, this Arbiter's killed off 2 science vessels, I think. Wow. Alright, well it only has 1 kill on it. So
ooh, a beautiful storm at the ramp there at the 3 o'clock base while the vultures were moving down. This is actually going to allow him to continue this aggression.
Wow. Alright, so yeah, that 3 o'clock base gonna get pretty much taken out there. Wow. And so even though the Protoss lost 2 bases, it really doesn't matter all that much. Zealots getting all over this map, and yeah, there's no detection. So these Zealots are just gonna walk forward and kill off this entire army. Scan! Oh my god, there's finally a scan. Oh my god. Terran player lost so much there, and yikes, Casper might be heading to ghost form a little bit early.
Oh my god, but wait a minute. Hold on here. There's something weird going on. Why is there +1 weapons going down on the Arbiter's air? Is there a carrier set up somewhere? I haven't seen it yet. And I'm like, there's so much action that I can't look away.
I'm looking for Stargates, but it's all gateways right now, man.
That's curious.
Yeah, for some reason there's air weapons there.
+1, yeah, he's got 11 damage on that Arbiter. That Arbiter, OP.
To be fair, these Arbiters have actually been killing out quite a bit. Finally, all Terran forces out on the map, with the exception of 1 Vulture, gonna get taken out. This command center actually had to float from the 3 o'clock position. Was repaired by the SCVs surviving, but that's actually pretty significant.
Gonna be able to clean up the rest of the Dragoons that were down there in the 6 o'clock base. Now there's a little bit more aggression coming in there, but nothing quite happening yet. Oh my god, this game, back and forth. I thought it was Casper's for sure, but now it's 150 to 135 in the army supplies. Looking really good for Casper, for Dewalt right now.
Certainly is, and keep in mind, if you look at the supply, as we are wont to do, it's actually a higher supply now for the Protoss player. He's going to move forward, get a decent stasis off, and have just enough Dragoons to be able to push forward, take out the mines, and kill off all of these tanks.
Oh man, this is going to be possibly game-ending if these Dragoons can get enough damage. That's another Terran base that he needs to have mining, but oh, never mind. Actually, he is going to be able to clean this back up. The Vulture's doing so much good work. The mines, are they going to be able to get good connects?
Turns out the answer is no. Just barely enough energy for stasis is all over this Terran army, and now just going to be able to rally everything across the map, trying to take that out. Meanwhile, down at the 6 o'clock base, Dragoons moving forward, but into a lot of siege tanks.
Yeah, they're going to get a little bit of damage done, but not enough to actually take out the 6 o'clock base yet again. Ooh, man, this is going so back and forth, Rapid. I don't know who's going to win.
Yeah, it's just lots of action everywhere. All of these SCVs getting killed off there. You actually have the ability to count SCVs, if I'm not mistaken.
I do, but I don't want to actually know. As soon as I noticed that I had the ability to count, I turned it off because it just creates that much more suspense. Yeah, I'm the guy who hates the production tab.
Yeah, Terran player does not actually have that many SCVs. A lot of SCVs are actually mining from like pretty much dead mineral patches at his 3rd base. So Terran player's income is going to be really, really hampered right now, just barely getting that 3 o'clock back up and running.
But Protoss getting another base, starting to set up that natural, the top right-hand corner, but Terran knows about this, wants to make it an issue. Can the Protoss stop that? That's the question.
That is a pretty big question. The Protoss is out in the middle of the map, but needs to be careful that he doesn't just get run over by this Terran force. Now, this is what could actually put a big dent in our Protoss player's army. Dewalt has to defend his main gateway production facilities up there. There's, I think, what is that, 5, 6, 6 gates that are now going to be sieged, as well as 2 of his bases up here.
Ooh, this is so scary. I mean, like, that's a lot of vultures, so you really can't go with a zealot-heavy army into that, even though if you go with mostly dragoons onto over those bridges, you are asking for a whole bunch of pathing. Uh-oh. Oh, no!
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me?
What? In the middle of the match?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
This is the worst timeline.
Okay. We can get back here. We can repair all of this. All can be repaired. Give me a second. I'll rehost
Oh my God.
We're 25 minutes into this game. Jeez. Oh my God. I love technology. It's the vehicle of freaking esports, man.
Oh my God.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna peace out of here and get this game back up and running. We're at 24-49.
You know
Don't
what?
worry, guys. Sorry, now the replay's
26.
We'll never know.
26:30 was where we were stuck. It's okay. We can solve this. We have the technology. It's just gonna take a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I think we were at 24-49.
26:38. So let me get back into your lobby. Oh, I'm an idiot. I quit the game because I thought you were gonna be. Oh my God, I'm an idiot. I see what you were trying to do, and now I realize that I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you just go out there and do your thing, man.
Remake the lobby and we'll just catch back up. It's okay. It doesn't take that long.
All right.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I realize what you're trying to do now. I realized you were trying to sync the replays. I didn't think about that.
We can do that.
Oh, it's too late.
Casper Dewalt game 1.
Oh my God. Did you just make lobby?
I am in the process of making the lobby. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Alright, the lobby is made.
I hate myself.
Oh my God.
If only I saw what you were trying to do. You were too smart for me, my friend.
Jesus. Alright,
It's okay. It's okay.
Alright, we're ready to go. We're gonna get back in, we're gonna speed back up.
Yeah, we're gonna speed back up to 26:38. We'll be right back into the game. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm an idiot. Hashtag blame Shampoo.
Alright, here we go. Speed up.
It's okay, we
can, in fact, thanks to the wonders of speed technology, we can speed up to ×8. Imagine if we could speed to +8. That's like not actually that great. But ×8.
It's okay, 1.18 will allow you to actually seek through replays as well.
Imagine that technology. That is the space age.
24:49, not 26? Alright, so it's 24:49.
Yeah.
Brood War problems. I'm gonna hide over here in the corner. Alright, sorry ladies and gentlemen about that. Anyway, if you're just tuning in, this is the Brood War Cup by Filthy. Do us a favor, go to Matcherino and donate if you would like. If not, you can just do the coupon code of FilthyBW1 and donate $1 for free. I am so sorry for the issue here. Shamtu's an idiot. Rapid is too smart.
Alright, well let's just go ahead and get back in the game. It'll take us a couple of seconds excuse me, to seek back up to our previous location.
You can at 16 by 2. Can you hit up again? You? Can you hit up?
We are
oh, you can go 16!
Oh, crap. I did not know that. Alright. Well, now we'll get there even faster.
Twice as fast.
In fact, yes, 16 is twice 8.
Loading. Anyway, so yeah, this is the semifinals, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dewalt versus Casper. Pretty exciting games. This is pretty late over by you now in Korea, right?
10 a.m.
Oh, wow, you've been casting all night.
I have.
You are a champ. I hope you don't have anything to do today.
2449. Just trying to make sure that I get right exactly where I need to go.
I mean, we'll see it as soon as we see that giant push up into the top right.
Yep. Here we go.
Yeah, I was pretty sure it was like 26, not 24.
Alright, well, I believe it is actually...
Yeah, I think it's 26. I think Sham 2 was actually right for once.
Pretty sure.
No, you're right, you're right. Alright, we can go back to normal. Alright, so,
resume.
boom, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got the top right-hand corner now being sieged up here by Casper. Dewalt definitely on the ropes here for the top right-hand corner. Can he actually start reclaiming some of these bases, though? That's the question. Because it's 6 o'clock, back up to being fortified.
Alright, just trying to clear out these big minefields in the middle. Dewalt pushing through all of those. Siege tanks, though, are sieged up, and he's going to need more and more zealots to be able to deal with this. Otherwise, siege tanks are pretty good against Dragoons. There are enough zealots. They will mine drag through everything and really work well towards clearing up all these tanks and mines in the middle of the map.
And I mean, he will get a small amount of forces back over here to the 3 o'clock base in order to actually start stabbing that out here. The SCV's now trying to get their way out of here. You're going to lose a lot of them on the way.
Storms. Great storms there, not only allowing him to break through the tank siege position in the middle, but also to clear out a bunch of the Terran units pressuring into the 2 o'clock, or I guess that, what is that, 1 or 2 o'clock? 1:30. There we go.
Ooh, I didn't actually catch those storms. But at least stops this mining base yet again at the 3 o'clock position. 6 o'clock base, no way you're going to be able to break that. However, it's starting to drain down on minerals. There's not going to be that much.
This command center is actually going to die. It's going to continue to burn down if it's not repaired. Should be SCVs rallied up there to repair it, and I think they will get it in time. But more and more Terran forces being rallied up here to the upper right. I need to see more Protoss. Protoss player currently down to 100 supply versus a Terran who's up at 144.
Yeah, this is definitely a very stark contrast to what we were seeing a couple of minutes ago. We're seeing, quite a lot of Protoss forces getting just completely melted in the middle, and now you cannot push into that massive siege line down there at the bottom of that ramp.
Absolutely not. And the Protoss, keep in mind, also has no ability to macro right now because most of his gateways, I mean, there are gateways back in the main, but I think 8 gateways just got taken out there up at the upper right. His mining base number is very low. He just got his, I guess the base at the, what is that, 11 o'clock? No, it's not 11 o'clock. It's like 8 o'clock. Back up, the natural expansion there. The main there, just now mining, but it has a bunch of idle probes at it. And the Terran's expanding ever closer to that lower left-hand corner of the map.
Yeah, and that's going to be, you always, expanding into where you can actually just push into the Protoss as well is also just amazing. Because it allows you to really just kind of put all of your forces in one area, stops you from having to worry about kind of being split out from defending your expansions as well as pushing into the Protoss. But having that all in one nice tidy package of pushing along one line into the Protoss is going to make it so easy here for Casper to really take some good, get some really good damage in. Ooh, but those mine drags took out half those siege tanks there.
Okay, wow. Alright, that's one way to do it, guys. Turns out Zealots dragging into things, Dragoons dragging everywhere. It's going to be a good way to use mines against their opponents. Now, unfortunately, this Dragoon is not quite close enough to that tank to allow the splash damage to be really meaningful. The tank's going to get repaired to infinity and beyond.
Oh my god, it stays alive. No! Finally dies.
Not a good position there. So Protoss does come back and clear out a decent amount, but he's sub 100 supply against a Terran that is just macroing like a boss.
Yeah, now we have the siege tank starting to get ever so closer to that bottom left-hand base, and keep in mind this is only game 1. Oh my god, what a game 1 this is.
I mean, Zealots are actually pretty good, and they will be able to get in there and with more and more mine drags, take out plenty of tanks here. I think at this point you just make nothing but Zealots, you'll be able to do a pretty good job there, but Okay, this Arbiter also the only no anti-air from the Terrans. This Arbiter's going to go to town, taking out as many of these tanks as it can. But with very few mining bases, Dewalt's days are numbered.
Ooh. The siege tank shots on the probe's gonna do so much damage, and there's just no way that I can see Dewalt being able to break this line easily. Just that many siege tanks. Maybe if he had like 100 supply worth of zealots, he could walk through there. But up until that point, there's just no easy answer for Protoss. He's gonna go for that 3 o'clock base yet again. There's only one siege tank defending it.
Just try to keep an eye on this Arbiter. It currently has only 1 kill. About to get a second one on that siege tank.
Building missile turrets.
One
He
more attack
built a missile turret faster than an Arbiter could kill a siege tank.
Oh my goodness. The wicked webs we weave. Alright, nice stasis there on the siege tanks on the ramp. That means that no more siege tanks will be able to move up the ramp. However, I don't think that's that's only pretty much gonna delay the inevitable, as now the Terran player is building a command center on the ruins of the Nexus there at the Natural.
Yeah, that is definitely not the morale your army needs to see right now. Hey, you know that Nexus that we just lost? Yeah, they're already building a new command center. It's like hearing that your house got demolished and the new shopping outlet mall is already building all over, like, as you're still trying to remember like all your fond memories there. Like, it's just not a great thing you want to deal with. Protoss has been shut down in all of its bases except for the bottom left-hand corner. They have a single Templar and a Dragoon holding it off. Not going to be the army you want, but that's going to be GG here. Dewalt losing game number 1 to Casper.
Damn, 30-minute game on Circuit Breaker. What a way to start this series off. This is our semifinal series. The winner of this will advance on to the grand finals to take on, I believe it was Dandy. So that's going to do it for game number 1. Game number 2 will be coming up here in just a second as soon as I load this up.
Oop, wrong button. Woof. What matches, though? What matches?
Yeah, what a game. What were your thoughts about that game? Any final conclusions to wrap things up while I load up this next game?
I mean, it's just really good to see that, you know, the Terran, that really Casper just kind of kept it together. Even though he was losing 2 bases at once, he was like 40 supply beneath the Protoss. That was a really rough spot for Terran to be in, to lose both those bases while losing all your food, your supply advantage. And so Dewalt had a great... password is incorrect.
All ones then.
There we go. That was weird. So Dewalt had a great stranglehold on that map, but just barely lost it in the last couple of moments. That was just really clutch.
Indeed it was. Alright, well, I am going to head into our next game as soon as you finish downloading the map. We are ready to go. This will be on Neo Jade. Seen this map, I think, a couple of times. So let's go ahead and get into it in the upper left-hand corner of Neo Jade in the teal colors as the Terran. This will be our Terran player. I was trying to do like the zoom in thing, but it's just not going to work out.
I've tried doing that as well in my head, and I'm just like, it just doesn't work out.
This will be the Terran player, Casper.
At the bottom left-hand corner, our orange Protoss player, already down 1 game. It is Dewalt. I did it by just kind of like doing a nice little spiral around.
Yeah, alright, we're just...
One thing I missed from StarCraft 2.
We'll actually add a zoom function. That would actually be really cool.
I think they are, actually.
Because, like, you can change the observer functions in ways that don't give you additional stats to allow you to look at the game differently. I think because in the release video for Brood War StarCraft Remastered, they actually do show the ability to zoom out. Maybe it's just a larger aspect ratio to support 16:9, but if you do have the ability to zoom in and out, that would be super sick.
Oh my god, that would be so awesome. It would be so interesting to see, like, how the players actually coordinate their massive, like, concaves and all that in a zoomed out mode. Like, remember when we saw True Touch versus Dandy? Remember, like, that giant battle in the middle where True Touch just came from all sides? Imagine seeing that from all angles, like from being zoomed out and everything. I think that'd be absolutely awesome. But
super incredible.
Starting to see that first barracks coming down here for Casper. Gonna go for that nice little 1-racks fast expand, getting the scouting SCV out.
Just taking some time to chill out. I want to go ahead and give a big shout out to our Matcherino donators. If you guys do enter the code or type !Matcherino in chat, you can help increase our $220 prize pool, which will be going over to the top 2 players with a tournament here. So moving out, or not moving out, but trying to deal with the scouting probe. It's like, he's going for it, guys. It's 2 minutes into the game. Moving out across the map with scouting, workers. It's going to be a bad scout for our Terran player, but Protoss probes, turns out they're just better in every single way, and he will be able to correctly scout our Terran player Dewalt.
Yeah, they just get to glide along everything. They're pretty much, robots, no. SCVs, they're piloted by humans. They don't really, they're kind of dumb. Oh my god, that was so close. That was almost an assimilator steal. And you can see that actually that delays Casper from actually getting the command center a little bit earlier, because he had to throw that SCV to go start up that refinery before the assimilator got put down. Cute.
Yeah, gas steals versus Terrans are actually really debilitating, because it means that you can't build your factory and you want to go to mech as quickly as possible. So that would have been a big deal, but hey, it turns out you can't build on top of another building. This pro's still getting a lot of annoyance done.
And there's a lot to be said about just being annoying to your opponent. I say this almost every time I cast, but like, if you could just start tilting your opponent by just being annoying all the time, like, you can do a lot just by tilting them alone. But single zealot now coming into the main is going to be able to deny both the bunker and the command center from being built, because the bunker SCV had to go back over to the command center.
Yeah, that does delay it quite a bit. Now, this is not anything crazy like an early 2 racks before command center. This is just 1 racks FE, or not 1 racks, 1 gateway into expansion, so nothing super crazy like that. On the other side, Terran, I love this wall. We've seen some pretty bad walls today from both Protoss and Terran players. This wall looks pretty good, so nothing out of the ordinary. And I think both players are going to settle into a little bit more of a macro game from here on out. A lot of times you don't see that on Jade, just because the game that Protoss plays with Terran early on before siege mode, where you pressure the front and siege the bunker that's there. That's actually super strong here. So would have liked to see maybe a little bit more of that, but looks like we are just going to back off and play ourselves a macro game.
Yeah, that was a little bit interesting, because, as even chat is agreeing that there is normally the 2 gate pressure that comes in from Protoss, and it works out normally pretty well. Oh no, there's 2 probes stuck!
Oh my god.
That is so depressing.
How does things like this happen?
Probes are so tiny. How do they get stuck? Oh wait, no, they just are idiots and didn't realize that they could get out.
Wait, what? Okay, great. Big fan. Probes are both the smartest and the dumbest units in the game.
Oh my god, that was great. It was just like, oh, we're stuck, Terry. We're never gonna get out of here. Don't worry about it, Philip. I think I see the way. Why didn't we do this 10 minutes ago?
Pros, man, how do they work? Who knows? These are the mysteries of the universe, man. Inquiring minds want to know. Finally taking out the scouting SCV, and with the Dragoon pressure at the front, yeah, this is just going to be pretty standard. Wait a second, there's one Dragoon that's not firing because he can't get... Okay,
yeah,
there we go.
The range of the bunker sometimes is very odd. Like, even though it's only 1 range, it sometimes feels like it's way more than that from the bunker. So, like, it's really actually, I found it so difficult to actually position your Dragoons correctly without taking any damage. I normally, like, start a step forward and everything will be in a line, but for some strange reason, 1 Dragoon will be in range, but not the others. But it doesn't actually line up with, like, a circle's, like, actual radius. It's so weird. Anyway.
Yeah, neither here nor there. Hard to position them accurately, but with siege tanks and siege tech out, Dragoons are going to get pushed back, and this will be interesting to see whether or not we see an aggressive or defensive tech. In game number 1, we saw Dark Templar tech start to come out, and it does appear as if that is what's coming out once again, this time with a Stargate.
Yes, Stargate's so incredibly early. I think we're going to be seeing a 2-base Arbiter play, actually. We're probably going to see the Orbital Tribunal go down really early. It's a very strong build if you don't know about it. Because at this point, Terran is very, very low in terms of scans. If they have any scans at all. So yeah, they'll have only one Academy. Which means, unlike DTs, where there's one thing, you have to kill it, having an Arbiter just like walking around means that there's still a huge army, there's still something flying, and you can do a lot of damage as well as just kind of, poke in and poke out with that Arbiter pretty easily, and still have a massive army, which is unlike how you generally have to deal with DTs.
Yep. Sorry.
It's okay. I will remember you.
Yeah. But will you remember me? Wait, you just said that.
Yeah.
Man, it doesn't work if you sing the song from both sides with different people.
Yeah, it really doesn't, because it just sounds like, I will remember you, but will you remember me? Yeah?
Whoa, one hit away. That is a 1 health observer out there on the map, guys. Great observer control there, or terrible observer control, depending on how you want to look at it. But 3 bases up for both players, so hey.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really too crazy coming out from Casper so far.
It's only 2 bases out for the Terran player. I looked down and saw that the minerals were the same color as the units. I was like, oh, those are that's a base. No, it's actually just minerals. Sorry, it's really rough casting cyan colors against the cyan minerals on the map.
There was recently an ASL that I was trying to study a build order for a Terran. I was trying to figure out when he grabbed the second gas. Let's talk about really difficult things to spot on the map is when a gas gets claimed by a cyan Terran, while the casters weren't looking at it because the casters were looking at interesting things. Only I cared about the gas at that moment. And so I was like sitting there like, did it? Okay, no, I think now it did. Okay, that's definitely it. Not easy.
Interesting to see this control group of Dragoons being rallied basically just everywhere out there. DT also just hunting around the map. I mean, I'm not sure if this is pathing or what you can blame this on. I think really we just wanted to see Casper just wanted to see whether or not there were any sneaky hidden base shenanigans. Now, he hasn't checked the entire rest of the map, which I feel like maybe he should if he's worried about that. But just making sure, hey, this Terran is in fact still on 2 bases.
Did grab a shuttle as well. A lot of Dragoons now starting to build up here for Dewalt. Definitely looking like this is going to be a massive bust. Possibly going for some sort of really cheeky recall into the back of the base. Finally, that second Arbiter's on the way. First Arbiter is out. By the time recall finishes up, he will have enough energy to go for that recall. And as we were mentioning a number of times, there's a massive area for you to really kind of recall in the back of the Terran space.
All right, now Terran actually kind of unit light. Terran player right now is in the in his big macro explosion where you build up to I think he's going to go to 5 factories off of just 2 bases and then try to build up and then push out. Now if you look at where all the Terran's tanks are, they're either at the natural or I believe there's a drop ship now headed out halfway across the map that has 1 tank and 2 vultures in it. Now that is not where you're going to want your dropship to be or your forces to be, as this big Protoss push is coming in.
DT's moving out around the map. Actually, oh, this dropship's going to actually see the 4th base getting grabbed. This is actually pretty huge. No, it's not. It veers off at the last minute to go straight for the natural. Oh, sorry, for the 3rd base.
Yeah, now pressuring at the front with Dragoons does not look weird. You're supposed to see that, but what is going to look a little bit weird is this Arbiter pressure is going to come up here either for a recall, and I actually want to check out the Arbiter Tribunal. Where did that get put? It's not researching anything.
It actually finished up. Yeah, it's got recall now. It was started recall as soon as the 2nd Arbiter came out.
Yeah, alright, so pointed out in chat, if you do go 2 base Arbiter, you need to deal damage because you invested heavily into tech and not economy. This was like a 2.5 base Arbiter because a 3 was coming out.
It got scouted.
Yeah. Dropship is coming back, but yeah, the scan on the 4th base will reveal Protoss is building it up.
But there's no vultures out on the map to really start laying mine. Oh, sorry, there's no vultures in the main base laying mines. So he's gonna hope that that science vessel can get an EMP done. I can't see. Yeah, it's still. Oh no, he won't have EMP ready.
Nope, no EMPs, so this recall will be able to go off. Now, third base just now being floated out, right as this Arbiter's moving in.
Yeah, Arbiter gonna be hugging the line.
All the vultures and takes are really out at the natural, or at the third base. Here comes the Arbiter, going in, a big recall, goes off.
Pulls in yet another Arbiter, but it doesn't have enough energy to get another recall in. Zealot bomb coming in to stop all the tanks that were already sieged up as well. Very, very good play here from Dewalt.
And he also takes out the science vessel right as he gets in there, so immediately targeting that out. Needs to make sure that he saves the second Arbiter, doesn't let it get taken out by the Goliath, but it looks like scan energy. He needs a target, actually, target down the Comsat station in the main, but it's already out of energy, so I guess it won't matter all that much. Oh no, he's actually decloaking a lot of his units by maybe miscontrolling a few of those Arbiters, and this main recall will get cleared out.
Yeah, but what he did there was he focused all of his units to take out the missile turrets so his Arbiters could actually get out of there, which was kind of cute. Now he's got a huge amount of units kind of coming up into the third base with the Arbiter's Cloak, going to be able to help that out quite a bit.
If I check out the scan energy, I believe there is only one scan about to be available. Yeah, there it is, goes off right now. That's the last scan. Actually, no, there's one more about to be available in the main. Okay, so there's really only one scan available at this current point in time. And that is not a lot. There it is, gonna go off there. This is the final scan. I think it might just barely be enough. There's another Macro Force right outside this third base though, so running low on energy.
Yeah, he's gonna have to back up here. But you know what? Like, the two Arbiters have basically kept the Terran locked down for so long that he has been able to get up to 4 bases, now starting a 5th in the top right-hand side.
Okay, so Protoss really on par with what he's supposed to be doing at this point. Getting out there, getting bases, keeping the Terran back. But you know, the Terran has also kind of dropped the ball in a couple of other ways, not getting out on the map to lay these big minefields. They take the Protoss so much time to get out there and clear. So, I mean, Terran does have those 3 bases, though. We'll see what he can do with them.
I mean, the 3 bases are going to be... Ooh, the Arbiter taking so much damage. Are going to be just pivotal for the Terran to be able to pump out a huge army. You can already see how many siege tanks the Terran army has already. That's a lot. I mean, that's... How many do we have directly? We have 20 siege tanks. Starting to build up those vultures. The third base, as we were saying before, it's got limited amount of supply for gas, so he's going to have to make sure that these siege tanks don't die, because it can be a little bit more difficult later on in the game in order to actually build out more siege tanks, because they do take 100 gas each. So if he's going to go for a massive push, this army basically can't die, or he really doesn't want it to die. It's going to be hard to rebuild.
I think we have that in common. I, in fact, would also not want my army to die.
You know, sometimes you set on an army, you're like, alright, I don't care if this army dies, I just want it to do a lot of damage, and I can follow it up with another army. Here, that's not going to be as much of an option.
Sounds like something a Zerg player would say.
That's true. Maybe I was a Zerg.
Alright, so really just mass expanding around the edges of the map. Dewalt, really a good decision making to stabilize back at his base, or to get out there. While in the meantime, Casper is just trying to stabilize things at home. It looks like he has done so, continuing to build this ring ever further outwards off of his 3 bases.
And you know, Dewalt definitely making a bigger stance this game to expand very, very early, very, very fast. You know, last game we saw him being on par with Terran for a really long time, let the Terran get to 4 bases. Sorry, I should say Casper instead of the Terran. Letting Casper get to 4 bases, as well as, you know, when Dewalt was also grabbing 4 bases as well. Ooh, the last recall and testament of that Arbiter is going to get a huge recall at this at the natural base.
Yeah, it's going to force an immediate lift there on the command center. A big EMP does go off there, so this will weaken all of these Protoss units, and there is no Arbiter there to cloak these units, so they should be able to get cleaned up here pretty quickly.
Meanwhile, there was another recall at the third base as well. So many SCVs, I'm sure, have died in the last couple of seconds.
Yeah, very, very many of there. I think 10, 12, and upwards going to get taken out there. These recalls really devastating the Terran economy, but have they done enough?
Ooh, Arbiter going against 2 missile turrets right now. Gonna take a lot of damage. One more, gonna be able to take out that Arbiter, but still so many Protoss forces moving their way over here to this third base. The siege tanks trying to get over there, but they are actually gonna have to go the long way around.
Okay, well, going to be successful enough at breaking into this third base. Once again, killing off a lot of SCVs, but no bases themselves actually being taken out just yet. Protoss kind of trying to suicide all these forces, exactly like you were talking about earlier, Sham, too, and just send them in to die, but just crippling blow after crippling blow, and another Arbiter coming in.
I mean, you could just slowly waste away the Terran at this point. It's 120 army to 160 for the Protoss. Another huge amount of Protoss army going to go to the natural, and this one is just more and more Zealots, which is a really good call here because the amount of Vultures were starting to wane away. This is just absolutely devastating. Protoss just able to resupply so well. There's a siege tank on the bottom ground. That's going to get taken out, and there's just so many forces. Now Terran responding with a huge siege tank push.
Yeah, he's saying, all right, enough. You've done some damage to me. Now my turn to deal damage to you. However, this push is vultureless. There's no buffer in the front lines to stop Zealots from running in. There's also no spider mines either to protect this push. It's pretty much just siege tanks and a few Goliaths.
Yeah, if this is nothing but Zealots just come out to stop this push, it's not going to be at all, like, it won't have any problems at all. Goliaths are great for one thing and one thing only in TVP, and that is taking out Arbiters and Observers and, maybe Carriers later on if that tech actually comes out. But they are absolutely terrible at anything on the ground, and so this army is completely unprotected from Zealots.
Gotta move those Arbiters away a little bit, just giving them away for free. But yeah, these Zealots just coming in, running right up on top of these. These are, +2 Zealots, so those are really gonna get in there and absolutely destroy all these tanks. And with the death of these tanks, even though there's Vultures being rallied across the map, I mean, I think at this point, with many unharassed expansions across the map, Protoss player Dewalt in a great position.
Finally, that last Goliath went down, so the Arbiter can just kind of sit here and just kind of poke away at these forces. There is a dropship that decided to go towards the natural ramp here for Dewalt, but doesn't actually have anything in it.
It's a fake drop. He's gonna send it into warp-in mode. Get his force. I don't know, man. That's not quite the drop you're looking for. Now, a bunch of Protoss forces getting cleaned up here around the lower left-hand corner of the map. So, I mean, Terran's still able to get out there and kill off quite a bit. And if you do look, do what all great French followers of our Lord and Savior Todd do and look at the supply, you can actually see that Terran's only about 10 to 15 supply below our Protoss player. Now, that's going to change right now as this big force of Zealot comes out here and wipes off most of what the Protoss has out there. Right as I say that, they miss a storm and lose a bunch of his army. So I don't know, man.
Is he on scans? There we go. He's pulling back quite a bit. Oh, the stasis on the remaining Terran forces. That is going to be not a great day for that Terran. Casper definitely up against the ropes here. Lost so many bases so many times. Hasn't been able to expand at all. This is really just up to Dewalt to just completely bleed the Terran dry, and as soon as he got control of this whole entire massive push that Casper was putting out across the map, basically means that Dewalt is now in a very great position.
Yeah, and I think their big thing, even though we can count army supply to some degree, is going to be about resources. I mean, Terran desperately trying to get out there and take a fourth base that will probably never happen. He's going to be able to rally Infinity Vultures out across the map, but I mean, the Protoss army is infinitely supplied with resources, and now it's all up to macro. And if you keep hitting those cycles, I think Dewalt is going to be in a great position.
Oh, another great stasis on the siege tanks, the remaining siege tanks here for Casper. There's a whole bunch of Vultures, but they're getting cleaned up because it's nothing but Dragoons now, and getting completely concave from the other side in the middle of the map. That's going to be GG. 1-1 between Dewalt and Casper.
Man, just great games. Nothing, too crazy. Just very solid macro illustrating both players. Great mechanics. I gotta say, loving this series. Very befitting of our semifinals. One of these players will advance on to the grand finals coming up here immediately following this. It's going to be winner of this series facing off against, I believe it is Dandy, who was able to take out. I'm trying to remember what that
Dandy
series
took out
was.
True Touch.
True Touch, yeah, there we go. A little bit earlier on. So one final game coming up in this series. Just going to go ahead and load that up here, and away we go. All right, ready to go. Hope you guys are enjoying the games here tonight. Remember, hit the Matcherino code to donate and increase the prize pool for the players. All of that will go their way. And, of course, if you have any further feedback, make sure to let us know. You can do that by tweeting at us on Twitter. I am at twitter.com/rapidcasting. Can't type my own name there. And my co-caster.
I got it.
Oh, my goodness.
I'll let you cough in peace.
It is at twitter.com/sham2. So hit us up. Let us know what you want to see from future Filthy Brood War Cups. We're going to have at least $100 on the line. Thanks to insane generosity, we've increased the prize pool by over double. It's sitting at about $220 right now.
Oh my
It'll
God.
be given away to the top 2 players this week. Thank you so much to you guys for coming out, not only just donating, but also watching. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our third game from our semifinal series. I thought I clicked it. There we go. From our semifinal series between Casper and Dewalt.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, spawning over here in the 3 o'clock position, it is our Cyan Terran player. It is Casper.
Dun, dun, dun. His opponent in the blue at the bottom 7 o'clock position. In the in the Protoss colored trunks, this is Dewalt.
So, we've seen some really great macro games coming out from both these players. Demian, a map that we've seen a lot of really heavy aggression on from pretty much all matchups that we've watched this tournament. Demian, sorry. Kind of curious to see how both these players are going to play. We've been seeing a lot of 1-Rax FE coming out here from Casper. I don't think we've seen a factory expand yet, if I remember correctly. I think it's just always been 1-Rax expand. And Dewalt has been doing much the same. It's been going for mostly 1-gate expos as a Protoss. But this map, I feel like a really good 2-gate could do a lot of damage to a Terran.
I'd also be very surprising considering that both of these players have opted for just pretty solid macro play from here on out.
Yeah.
I mean, you always have that moment with Protoss is pressuring with Dragoons at the bunker at the natural, but I mean, I think we all know kind of how that is supposed to go, and as long as nothing crazy happens, and it shouldn't between 2 players with these, A+ calibers, should just transition into a macro game. So I think the players are thinking, well, if we're both good enough and they respect each other, probably
You've
better
been
to just take
casting
it there.
all night, dude. I am so impressed.
So this is going on our 7th. Wait, if I'm not mistaken,
No.
this cast started at 6 a.m., right?
Yeah, it started
So
out
it started
4.5 hours ago. 4
Yeah,
hours
so-
and 4 minutes ago.
Going into our 5th hour of casting. It's
Yeah.
been all night long from 6. So I was up at the start of the cup, which was at 4 a.m.
Ugh.
and going on here until 6. Wow,
You're a champ.
what a day! But yeah, just super excited to get out here and cast some more Brood War. I'm used to keeping up with and paying attention to the Korean Brood War scene since I do live out here in Seoul, and I cast that quite frequently. But it's
Cast the
not,
ASL. That's what he's trying to say over here. Look at me.
all I'm trying to say is that I don't get a chance to follow some of the best players internationally,
Right.
just because that scene is it definitely gets a little bit less attention. It's like, does Flash play there? No. All right. But really interesting to see the way that these players play, the styles, how they react to these different map choices. A lot of cool stuff coming out here from the Filthy Brood War Cup, and it's just really interesting to see more international Brood War tournaments starting up and being played.
Yeah, I mean, like, as much as everybody wants to say, like, oh, if it's not from Korea, I don't want to watch it. It's, how unfortunate I think that person is going to be in missing, like, all these crazy games that we've been seeing. Like, True Touch versus Dandy, game number 3. That's a game you would never see because you didn't watch, like, the foreigner scene. I think the foreigner scene is definitely going to grow quite a bit once 1.18 comes out. And hopefully Korea completely reignites its StarCraft Brood War passion. We already see a lot coming out from ASL and everything else, which, thank you so much for casting, by the way. It's always great to have English casts for that. You know, I love listening to the Korean commentators, but I also like knowing, you know, what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different sides to it. Players, maps, esport, like it's a big world out there. I'm just glad that we can sit here in our little microcosm of it and, you know, experience some greatness here, one Brood War game at a time. So currently chasing around this SCV, I believe it has a couple more hits on it left, and it will run around the Protoss space and make its hasty exit. But it will gain a lot of very important info. Oh, the Dragoon glitched on the ramp. Oh my god, so unfortunate. The SCV will survive for the time being. Should
until
be
it
able
gets
to
home. It's not going to go home.
No, it is in fact a sneaky SCV. So it's Scout Snow Natural. That'll get thrown down immediately following that. Finally, the SCV will get taken out, but relatively early Cyber Core to get that range.
Interesting is this third place, this Marine watching the third base so early. Also, interesting to note is that mineral patches have an APM of 7.
Did you know?
I just clicked on it. It says how much APM like that unit or that force has. It's going around from like 6. Maybe it's my APM. If I click a whole bunch of things, does it go up? No. Nope. Mineral patches have an APM of 6. Anyway, sorry. Little things that catch my curiosity. Second base getting grabbed here by the Terran. It's going to be the natural. Has popped out a very early Engi Bay. That is really curious.
Yeah, so early engineering bay, this is not for upgrades, by the way, guys. So don't expect to see any deep six and going on just yet. This is, it's going to be for earlier turrets, and that's going to be important for not only denying DTs like we saw in game number 1, but also arbiters like we saw in game number 2. So I really like this reaction, and he's probably going to land it here to complete a big wall at the front. So this is just super, super solid. Casper saying, look, just let me play my game. And you know, both games, Dewalt has looked super solid in the long games, but has always tried to mix it up a little bit.
Wow, and a really early armory as well. That is curious.
Yeah, even going to be going up to what I guess could eventually be Goliath, but it's probably just really early upgrades.
Huh. So this is going to be a really early 2-1 push, I believe, coming out here from the Terran. Because +1 is nice, but it doesn't really do that much. But getting really, this is a really interesting build. Super defensive.
I mean, I think that's really what Cyan, or not Cyan, he is
Casper.
the Cyan color, but Casper is going to default to saying, just let me play my game. And he really hasn't been able to do that 100% either series.
Yeah, that's true. Because, I mean, I think while Dewalt did lose game number 1, Dewalt kind of set the whole entire pacing for that match the whole entire time. It's really up to Casper to kind of like respond to it, and even more so last game. But yet again, we're seeing Dewalt go for Templar Archives and Stargate. Yet again, we're going to see another 2-base Arbiter.
All right, man. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I suppose. But this time, like we were talking about earlier, much better defense setup here with the missile turret at the front, engineering bay floating over it, so you can't even select the missile turret underneath it. And that's pretty cool, because it means that if there's like a DT up there, it won't be able to run in and kill it off. If there's an arbiter, you know, you won't be able. Sorry, you can actually just start.
Yet again, 1 health. Sorry.
Yeah, he's pretty good at this observer control, I gotta say. 1 HP. Good job. No,
It's the second time that's happened.
He is playing a very dangerous game up there indeed. Look at this one Marine coming out trying to take out the probe, but he does! Oh my god, that's so annoying. Takes out the probe, so it's unable to go get that third base.
Yeah, but now he knows that that third base is super delayed too. So he knows that there's probably some sort of high tech coming in here. I haven't been watching his scans though, that's the thing. So I would really like to know if he does know about it, but I would actually have to venture he does. Given what I can see from what vision he had. So he knows about the Arbiter tech, but he's just pumping out factories.
Yeah, and this is right around the time the first recall was headed his way in game number 2, right when he's about to hit this big macro cycle, going up into investing a lot into production facilities. Now, here we go, Dragoons grouping up. Now, no Zealots with this. Really do think you want at least a little bit of that in your initial force. Now, we'll be able to take out the Scouting Vulture. Oof. Waiting for these Arbiters to really come into play.
Yeah, he does see that the siege tanks were starting to pour out here from Casper, so he just kind of backed up immediately. We start to see missile turrets coming out with this push. This is actually a very old-style Terran push, where you get nothing but vultures, siege tanks, and then you get a bunch of missile turrets with your push, and slow push out across the map. I'm not sure how well that's going to do, though. If he knows that there's Arbiter Tech coming out here, that's going to be really, really scary to push out across the map if you then get recalled in the back of your base. Might
be a little bit, I guess, apprehensive considering game number 1. Now this is...
Sorry, I just make a lot of noises.
No. Yeah, you could actually just like verbalize instead of vocalize. I think that would help me out because every time I hear that, I'm just like, what? Wait, what? Where? Oh, I don't know. Am I missing something? Okay, so catching a dropship, big deal.
Yeah, and that's absolutely massive. That was a siege tank and two vultures that just completely got denied from being able to harass that main base. Meanwhile, he's getting a pretty good push going on here. He's got the Zealot bomb set up as well. Looks like he wants to take out the siege tanks as they get set up. And he will be able to get a good drop here.
Yeah, nice Zealot bombs right on a couple of big siege tank positions, moving these Dragoons forward. They will be able to completely crush this attempt to take a third base.
And that's going to stop the Terran from being able to get not only the third base, but any type of, like, just map control at all. That was a lot of siege tanks to lose here. Arbiters now with the force as well, so it's going to have to force a whole bunch of scans.
Yeah, now with this Arbiter Tech coming out, this does seem to be a little bit of a weakness. Casper, ironically, as the Ghost, unable to deal with invisible units.
Does have the final, yeah, that science vessel coming out here. Doesn't have EMP just yet, but +2/+1 is actually on the way, almost about 3/4 the way done here. So this Terran army, even though it's like a little bit shattered, a little bit weaker right now because he just lost a lot of units, is going to become very strong very shortly.
All right, now trying to bleed out these scans and just figure out which is the weak spot, which is the area that I can find a chance to get in. Probably needs to position the Arbiter away from the rest of his... okay, well, he's still waiting on recall or research. I was like, okay, well, why is he not looking for a good opportunity to recall? Well, he just doesn't have the spell. So instead, he's going to go for these drops, loading up Zealots into these shuttles, and trying to find a way to get them into the Terran base.
You have to be really careful about doing those types of things, because if you start forcing the Terran to make a whole bunch of missile turrets, then all of a sudden your Arbiter play is going to get punished quite a bit as well. Does actually take out one of these missile turrets as it's being built, but we already are starting to see Casper starting to build up. Oh, that one mine taking out 2 of those vultures. Talk about worth.
My question is, Sham2, why does the shuttle have to be directly on top of the Protoss units? Why can't it pick them up from, 8 units away? That would seem to be just like a much better designed unit to me.
Yeah, right? Like, as if they kind of got warped into it. If it had some sort of giant crystal to focus like a
we just don't have the technology yet, okay?
And it's really interesting is they still use it in the EU as the shuttle. Like, the shuttle is still a thing that's used in the EU for StarCraft, because I'm reading the latest book by Timothy Zahn, and they still are like, oh yeah, the Protoss shuttle, and I'm like, why would you just not use a warp prism?
Yeah, how is that not the clearly superior unit? It's like using a dropship instead of a medevac. I'm like, well, what if it could just heal everything? Okay, all right, going back in for more Zealot drops into the main. Here comes the recall!
Oh, and a whole bunch of Dragoons are going to be in the main line here for the Terran, and that's going to be so much damage here. The SCVs are getting absolutely slaughtered. The Terran forces have to walk all the way back. All the way home. The third base now only has a couple of siege tanks to defend it. I'm curious to see if we're going to be seeing any type of heavy aggression there. No, it doesn't look like Dewalt's going to do that much.
A big EMP does go off all over most of those Dragoons, so they will be shieldless. And just that little bit more squishy. Tanks will move forward eventually back into the main, and all these Dragoons will get cleared out, but not before a lot of damage is done. Several supply depots being taken out, lots of SCVs going down there, and inevitably, yeah, this is going to get cleaned up, but now it's time to pressure the third.
Oh, and a beautiful stasis locking up 2 of the 3 siege tanks there. This is definitely going to be Dewalt being able to take this for free.
Yeah, pretty much. Forcing a lift there on the base. Needs to move forward micro a little bit to make sure that he can take that out. All the SCVs being maynarded back, and now coming back in to fight. Which direction is this going?
The Vulture's trying to get in there, but with the Arbiter there, it's getting like that nice little bit of cover there for the Protoss army. Does have to force more and more scans. There's no science vessel over here either. The third base gets saved, and he's actually able to finally start retaking it, but what's really actually a pain in the butt here for Casper, sorry, for Dewalt, is that he recalled in, tried to take out those armories, but the armories had just finished the 2-1 research. Upgrade, sorry. So the whole mech army does have 2-1 already. That's a great spot for the Terran to be sitting in.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to look at the big picture here, Sham, too. 30 supply lead, I believe, for the Protoss player right now, and he's just expanded to his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th base out on the map. The Terran still trying to hold his 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not saying that the Terran's definitely in a great spot here. I'm saying that he could be in a lot worse of a spot if he didn't have 2-1. But with Dewalt, yet again, looking like he's going to go for yet another recall, this is going to be it's going to be really devastating if he's actually able to land. But look at the EMP science vessels just waiting all over the outskirts of this base. This is actually really clutch.
He is very well defended. He's got a ring of turrets, a ring of science vessels just waiting for... I mean, if this was a Velo trying to defend his base, I think he does it by using the ghost spell lockdown on the Arbiters. I think that's a little bit
Scan's been using that too, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's one way to do it, but I guess, like, whatever works best for you. Let me just put it that way. If it works, it works. So,
I mean, the problem there is you have to build ghosts.
Positioning both for a recall and for pressure here on the 3rd base. Trying to get a bunch of Dragoons to go up that ramp is just never going to happen.
Ooh, but he found the hole, and he's going to go straight on in here, and here comes a recall. Oh,
yeah,
man.
Right in on top of everything. No spider mines there either, so a great spot chosen. Now, there is a big EMP, which will take out all the energy on that Arbiter and weaken these Protoss units, but this is going to be a very difficult spot for the Terran to reposition. No, stasis on the siege tank! He can't get into the main!
Low ground, which means he can't get any of his units back to defend this. This is just going to be so much forfeit.
God!
But another set of units do come in here. This is actually the chance for him to defend this. Single siege tank. It might get taken out. No, it does get the last shot there on the Dragoon. Meanwhile, there's an engagement in the mid as Terran starts to push out.
Yeah, I definitely think that Dewalt did not expect to see Casper moving out at the same time he's getting dropped in his main base. So now he's going to have to quickly reposition and get right back in on top of those tanks.
He does have enough for a stasis. Is he going to use it from the Arbiter? Doesn't look like he's actually going to use it just yet. He's taking so much damage. He needs to start taking out this Terran army a little bit quicker, but he might just be able to defend it. This is so close.
The Zealots are great units, man, and he will get right in on top of those tanks and just barely have enough to survive. Literally, the difference in this entire fight was 2 Zealots and a Dragoon left over for the Protoss and 3 tanks left over for the Terran. Insanely even engagement.
Oh my god, absolutely destructive game between both these players. So evenly matched right now. The 4th base is still not underway here for Casper. Still only on 3 bases. But Dewalt, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases. Well, I mean, the main's not really mining anymore. But still, yeah, so absolutely huge.
5 mining base, or yeah, 4 mining bases right now. Main mined out, and 6 base just now coming out.
Clutch EMP going to be able to take out the Arbiter's ability to get any stasis done, but so many Zealots in the resupply coming out here from Dewalt's going to be able to overwhelm the only 2 Vultures out here for Casper.
and there's just not enough vultures or spider mines to buffer against this high zealot numbers. And zealots so great against siege tanks, and it's kind of ironic kind of strange to say that, because theoretically siege tanks should just have the range advantage, but now running through so many mines, take out the rest of the zealots.
This is such a crazy game. Both these forces constantly getting depleted back and forth between each other. 169 in the supply for the Protoss. 87 for the Terran. I don't know if Casper's going to be able to hold on.
Yeah, I think Casper just reads the situation correctly, and GG's out!
Oh,
and that's a 2-1 victory. Dewalt coming back from a Game 1 deficit, taking out Casper in 2 games after that, and advancing to our filthy
finals.
Brood War Cup Grand Finals. Yeah.
All right, we've got the last set of matches. Let me send them to you. This is going to be Dandy versus Dewalt.
Dandy versus Dewalt. That's actually really surprising, considering that not only did we have Scan get taken out by True Tech earlier on in the tournament, we also had guys like I saw a couple of other really big names here. Eonzer got taken out by Dragon early on. We had Dragon then get taken out as well by Casper, who's here. Bonif, a guy I actually thought was going to make it to at least the semifinals. Bonif got taken out by this guy Dewalt. And then, guys like Trutex getting taken out later on by Dandy. So, wow, it's really, really cool to see strong players start out the tournament, and then it goes down to Dandy and Dewalt in the finals.
Not only that, but I can't believe that we started like an hour or so, or no, 2 hours after the tournament started. And the finals just finished like 10 minutes ago. Not even, 2 minutes ago. So this actually ended up timing out perfectly, if not for the fact that we have been casting for five plus hours. So we're probably gonna get up to 6 easily.
Good thing we're getting paid for this, man. All
yeah, right? I'm so glad I'm being paid so much to do this casting.
Yeah, literally 1 billion esports dollars coming our way.
Cough, cough, exposure or something. No, we're kidding. Something. I mean, I'm doing this for fun.
Definitely doing this one for the exposure, man.
Yep.
All right, so here we go. Coming up next, Dandy versus Dewalt. Game number 1, hosted out there.
Whew. Okie dokie 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 yo.
Okay, all right, cool. So yeah, the game is hosted. You're in this. You're going to download the replay.
Yep.
I think we might have to sync up again, because this is from 2 different players.
All right, let's just... No, I think we should be fine. The sync up is whether or not we can actually get into the game at all.
Oh yeah, that is true. All right, so we should be actually okay then.
It is true.
Oh, because we've actually cast both of these players.
Yeah, we have.
All right, so here we go.
Oh my god.
Best of 3 coming at you. Grand Finals. Let's go. In the red. Not Casper. We just saw him get taken out. Not any of the other great Terran players that we've gotten a chance to watch. In the red, playing Terran here in the Grand Finals. This is Dandy.
And spawning over here in the top left-hand corner of Fighting Spirit 1.3 in the Grand Finals. It is Dewalt, the blue Protoss.
Wow, and yet Dewalt is going to come into this game after having a lot of practice in this matchup against a great Terran player, Casper. Whereas Dandy came into this after playing whereas Dandy is coming in after, wait, what? Oh,
yeah,
I don't even know what I'm saying. So Dewalt has a lot of practice versus Terran, but Dandy has been playing against a Zerg and True Tech. So, the practice really going to give Dewalt, I guess, a feeling of maybe comfort coming into this.
I have the wrong name here. Yeah, and I mean that's definitely like one of those things, because you always have to remember, like all those little things. I can't spell fixed apparently. All those little things that like how the matchup works, right? So if you've just come into him, okay, I just got into the mindset of fighting a Protoss army again and again and again, or Terran army again and again and again, I'm definitely gonna be in a good spot here. Versus coming in from, I just played a whole bunch of Zerg, so I have to be scared of Zerglink running in everywhere all the time. Especially because he's also been waiting in the wings for a while. Like, we already casted the games of Dandy versus True Touch, and they happened a while ago. So I'm kind of curious to see how warmed up he is as well.
Yeah, and always interesting to see. Maybe some players react differently to a series when, depending on how they play out. Sometimes maybe you lose to a really frustrating cheese and it kind of tilts you a little bit, or you play too long macro games like Dewalt did, and I mean, those are really going to take a toll.
Yeah, the Minerals have a lot more APM this game. They're up to like 160 some. What is going on with the APM of Minerals, man? The APM more than Filthy Rake, I can tell you that. Filthy Rake, I think APM's at a steady 60 APM, maybe?
Oh, I was going to go with like 50s. But,
yeah, 50 is actually a normal day. 60 is like he's drank a little bit of too much caffeine and he's playing.
Nice. All right, well, just to get things back up and, talking about the Brood Wars, set things up, we are going to have an earlier fast expansion here for our Terran player. Barracks there is helping out with a little bit of wall action in case there's early Zealot pressure. The SCV will actually scout the early Zealot coming his way, so the Marines should be able to micro between the building command center and the barracks and push the Zealot back.
Yeah, hopefully. Actually, he's going to bring a couple of SCVs with him as well. Really afraid of this Zealot, which is good because the Zealots really early in this matchup are really strong.
Yeah, if you can get on top of those Marines, I mean, Zealot can actually just like really open things wide open. Now, should be able to take it out. Yeah, just barely. One more hit on that Marine, I think, would have taken it out. So, yeah, good control there on the Marines. Did lose one, but survives, keeps his, natural building. Will be able to get that base up ahead of the Protoss.
But this does delay a lot of the normal standard parts of the Protoss army, right? Like, you normally have Dragoon almost about out right now. You almost have Singularity Charge starting up, but neither of those are going to happen here because the Zealot came out to really kind of throw a little bit of an upset there onto the Protoss' build order. Second Zealot actually coming out here as well.
All right, I still think that the Terran player is Casper, but in fact, no, it is Dandy. So I'm gonna have to get a little bit used to that as we get in here. So for me, Dandy it represents a much different style than Casper did. Casper was just like only macro, nothing but macro, super hyper defense against macro, into macro.
Right.
Now, he was a little bit weak to arbiters, so I really want to see the difference in playstyle here for Dandy in how he. His playstyle differs and allows him to be more secure. Or maybe that's still his weakness as well.
So, fun fact. Citadel of Doom coming out here from Dewalt.
Okay, so Dewalt is going to start off this game one just like he did the last game one and go once again right back towards that Dark Templar tech. So, yikes. Could also be for very fast Zealot legs. If you want to play that game, probably not though.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's not many build orders where they go straight into legs and do, like, a massive push, but I have actually seen matches like that. In fact, I played a match like that. It was a very, very weird match where Protoss just did nothing but shove Zealots down my throat all game. It was absolutely hilarious, actually. But it looks like, yeah, he's just going to go straight on into the standard play that he's been doing as he's got that Protoss probe kind of waiting right there just to put down that next tech building. Meanwhile, Dandy, not really doing too much different.
Well, this is interesting. Gonna see a robotics bay, or robotics facility come out. So, gonna be going into, I think, could this be storm drops?
Ooh, it could be. Because
I think it would be storm or DT drops.
It might be DT drops because, I mean, like either or, but, really good of you to note that because last time we saw the Templars come out as well as the Stargate, so you can get the Tribunal really quickly. This game, we're not seeing any Stargate. We're actually only seeing the Robo Facility and Templar.
Okay. All right. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how these DT drops do go out. And yeah, it definitely should be. Gotta micro those with your goons, forward or backwards. Make a decision. Decides to just push that tank back. No, the SCVs are not repairing. Okay, well, now they are. Wow. That was a little bit dicey there, but with Siege Mode completing, that should send these Dragoons back to base, and now we get a chance to see how effective these DT drops are going to be.
Oh, the scan does come down, does see what's going on here. Didn't actually catch the shuttle, I don't think. I think that probably was the end of the scan's vision there.
Radius.
But Dark Templar drops coming on in here. Rapid. Oh my god, he's already used his scans.
Yeah, he uses scan to scout, so that means that he will need to, let's see, where's the eBay? Is he throwing it up right now?
Yeah.
No, it's another factory being, oh yeah, so a factory being built. eBay is about 75% of the way completed. This shuttle is actually almost on the way, and crucially enough, it has 2 DTs, not just the one that we saw from game number 1.
He does have a lot of scans built up, though. He's got 94 energy on one and 45 on the other, so he's got 3 scans available. He should be okay.
Yeah, and SCVs don't get one-shots, so they do alert.
You actually get the alert,
player.
which is the most annoying thing about playing Zerg. Oh, gets scanned. Gets picked up immediately. Very cute play here.
Yeah, now, when you have a DT in a shuttle, that means you have basically infinity ability to, avoid scans. You just pick it up, and away you go. Unfortunately, this is going to be very difficult, because there is enough scan energy to allow this turret to be built. It's really, really kind of on a knife's edge. I've definitely lost games where I just almost had enough scan energy to get a turret up, but not quite, and then you just lose.
But I mean, like, he's playing it very reserved so far. He's got to be really careful because the shuttle's really far away. If there's a single scan that comes down, he loses that DT.
Yeah, we'll have to pick it up very, very quickly. Tanks have hit scan, so if they do attack, when they attack, they instantly deal damage.
Oh my god, he does pick it up in time as soon as the scan came down. This is so really great play between both of them.
Yeah, got to keep an eye on 50 just now in the main. There's the scan. It goes off and insta pickup. That DT has about 5 HP, by the way, so things are getting a little bit dicey, and there is still one more scan at the natural, so DT should die the next time it drops.
Oh, catching a whole bunch of siege tanks as they were not sieged up with a bunch of Dragoons. It's going to be pretty good to stop any type of push, but still we're seeing Danny move out across the map. A lot of tanks, a couple of Vultures coming in here, but a really nice resupply here of Zealots.
Okay, well, Zealot's coming forward. Zealot's super good about pushing this back. Dragoon's now moving forward to try to pick off his tanks.
Going to be successful in taking out at least one more. The Zealots now starting to engage directly on the tanks. The Vultures are fighting the Dragoons. The Zealots are fighting the tanks. This is going definitely in Dewalt's favor.
And Dewalt getting a lot of value here, able to take out even the mines as they are being laid for the most part. We'll actually need to retreat here for now. The Vultures trying to stop that. Moving forward, they're going to be able to snipe at least one more tank. Can he find another one? Oh, needs to target the mine. The mine does go down right before it detonates, but that should be the end of things here for the Dragoons. A couple more shots to take out that tank. They will not be there. Terran push survives. Heads out across the map.
Arbiters, though, starting to come out here.
Oh no! Oh my god! Look at the bridge between the main and the natural. DT dropped there, and none of the Vultures can get out.
That's cute. Very cute. Looked like a bunch of bees in a hive. They didn't quite know where they're going, just kind of moving all over the place. That's really cool.
So sick. God, I love Brood War. Oh my goodness.
Arbiter now moving up to the top half of the map.